chosen one. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. Out of all the noise in the world, among countless scrolling moments and distractions, your spirit paused here. That pause wasn't random. It was divine. God Himself guided you to this exact moment. This is not just encouragement, it's a sacred message meant specifically for you. Listen closely to the whisper from heaven. My beloved child, the breath you just took this morning wasn't ordinary, it was a sign that I'm not finished with you. I still have plans, I still have purpose, and I am still working in the deep places of your life, even when you cannot see it. You may feel weary. You may have prayed in silence, wondering if anyone heard. You may have cried in the dark when no one noticed, holding yourself together for far too long. But God did see, He did hear. He has collected every tear, remembered every whispered word, and counted every step you've taken in faith. Not a single moment has escaped His attention. In letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, C.S. Lewis wrote, "We may ignore, but we can nowhere evade, the presence of God. The world is crowded with Him. He walks everywhere incognito." This truth affirms that your silent prayers and unseen tears have been witnessed by God's ever-present gaze, moving incognito to weave His purpose into your life. Lewis's words underscore that this divine moment is a sacred encounter, confirming that heaven sees and remembers you. People may overlook you. They may not understand the battles you've silently endured, but the one who created your soul, He sees it all. He knows how hard you've tried, how many times you've stood back up, how much you've carried with no one else to lean on. And right now, He is saying this: you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not abandoned. You are deeply remembered by heaven and intimately loved by me. This season you're walking through, as painful and uncertain as it feels, is not the end of your story. It's the middle, the hidden chapter, the sacred unfolding. Just as Joseph once sat forgotten in a prison cell, far from the dreams God gave him, yet was secretly being prepared for the palace, so too are you being prepared, not buried, but planted, not rejected, but refined. You may not see it yet, but there is divine meaning in every delay, every closed door, and every silence. God isn't just watching, He's orchestrating. He's leading you somewhere greater than you could have ever imagined. And He is whispering now, I'm not finished with you. Don't give up. What I'm about to reveal will make sense of everything you thought was lost. There's something God needs you to understand in this moment. The delays in your life have not been punishments. The detours you faced were not signs that God forgot about you or rejected your prayers. They were divine redirectionally reroutes, designed to guide you away from what would have limited you and toward what will fulfill you beyond your imagination. In The Problem of Pain, C.S. Lewis wrote, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world. This insight captures the purpose of your delays and detours. The pain and silence you've endured are God's megaphone, shouting to redirect you toward a greater destiny. Lewis's words affirm that these challenges are not punishments but divine preparations, aligning you with heaven's plan. It's easy to believe something is wrong when things don't go as planned. When doors close, relationships fade, or the answers you prayed for seem delayed for years, you begin to question your own worth. But heaven is saying today, don't confuse silence with absence, and don't confuse waiting with rejection. The truth is, God has been protecting you from lesser things, things that looked good on the surface, but would have hindered the calling on your life. He's been guiding your steps with more wisdom than you can yet see. There are moments when God steps in and disrupts your plans, not to hurt you, but to position you. Just as a shepherd pulls the sheep away from the edge of a cliff they cannot see, so God has pulled you away from what you thought was your next step. Because where He's taking you requires deeper roots, greater trust, and a faith that doesn't collapse under pressure. Think about this. How many times did you feel like something was lost, only to realize later that it was grace in disguise. Maybe that opportunity you didn't get was God shielding you from exhaustion. Maybe that breakup was God rescuing you from a relationship that would have drained your soul. Maybe the no you received was really a not yet, a delay that was protecting your destiny. God sees further than we can. While you've been trying to hold things together, He's been weaving a better story behind the scenes. The disappointment you felt was real, but it wasn't final. God never closes a door without preparing a better one to open. And even when you felt stuck, Heaven was already planning your breakthrough. He is not late, He's strategic. He's not punishing you, He's perfecting you. So today, release the fear that you've missed your moment. You haven't. In fact, you're right on schedule for the miracle that's been tailor-made for your journey. If this word spoke to your spirit, comment 777 as a sign of faith. It means divine alignment, breakthrough, and completion. Say it loud to heaven. I believe, I receive, and I'm ready. Comment. Now your shift begins here. Right now, in places your eyes cannot see, in realms your mind cannot comprehend, Heaven is moving on your behalf. Just because you can't feel it doesn't mean God isn't working. Just because your prayers seem unanswered doesn't mean they've been ignored. There is a shift happening in the spirit, a quiet but powerful stirring that is already breaking chains, opening paths, and preparing miracles to reach you in ways you never expected. God is not limited by the natural timeline of your life. While you're watching the clock, He's commanding the unseen. Angels are being dispatched in silence. Solutions are being formed in shadows. What looks still to you is already in motion toward heaven. There is divine activity surrounding your life, even when your world feels painfully quiet. Think of Elijah. He stood on the mountain and looked out for the rain God had promised. At first, there was nothing, no clouds, no sign, only stillness. But that didn't mean God wasn't fulfilling His word. Eventually, the servant saw a cloud the size of a man's hand. Small, insignificant to human eyes, but it was the beginning of an outpouring so heavy it would flood the land. That's how God moves. Subtle at first. Then, suddenly, in the screw-tape letters, C.S. Lewis wrote, "There is nothing like suspense and anxiety for barricading a human's mind against the enemy, God." This insight reveals that the stillness and delays you've experienced are not barriers but divine opportunities. The enemy may use anxiety to block your trust, but God uses these quiet moments to prepare a sudden outpouring, just as Elijah saw. Lewis's words affirm the need to trust in God's unseen work, reinforcing the narrative's call to release fear and embrace the divine shift. The same is true for you, chosen one. You may not see the miracle yet, but that doesn't mean it isn't coming. Just like seeds growing underground, your breakthrough is developing in hidden places. It's not lost, it's not delayed, it's being prepared for perfect release. You're closer to it than you realize. So don't measure God's presence by your emotions. Don't measure progress by what you can see. What's happening in the spirit is greater than anything happening in the physical. The stillness is not emptiness, it's holy ground. And in that silence, heaven is working with precision, beauty, and unstoppable love. Chosen one, pause and listen with your spirit. This is not just another week. It's not another turn on the calendar or another sequence of ordinary days. This week is sacred. This week has been authored by heaven. The Lord is saying to you right now, "My child, I have gone ahead of you. I have written your days with care, sealed them with grace, and filled them with divine appointments. Every morning will carry the fragrance of promise. Every evening will close under the shelter of my presence. Miracles are not just possible, they have been scheduled. On Monday, the week will begin not with anxiety or dread, but with awakening. God will breathe fresh energy into your spirit and lift the cloud that's been hanging over your thoughts. You will sense that something has shifted, even if nothing in your surroundings has changed yet. It may come through a message you weren't expecting, an opportunity you didn't pursue, or a sudden clarity about something you've been unsure of. Doors you assumed were locked will begin to creak open. Your faith will rise, not from external proof, but from the quiet assurance that God has gone before you. On Tuesday, alignment will begin. Things that felt scattered, delayed, or out of place will begin to come together in divine order. You will sense resources, gathering people who once forgot about you will return with favor. Conversations that felt dry will suddenly carry purpose. The path forward will not appear all at once, but step by step, you will begin to see a line forming where there was once only chaos. You won't have to force anything. The hand of God will move quietly and precisely. This is not a coincidence, it is orchestration. On Wednesday, peace will begin to settle over your life like a gentle river. This peace won't be circumstantial, it won't come from everything going right. In fact, some things may still be unresolved, but you will feel the difference. Your chest won't tighten when you wake up. Your thoughts will slow down. You'll be able to breathe deeper, walk slower, and speak softer. You will feel carried, not by your own strength, but by the presence of the one who promised never to leave you. This peace is your inheritance. It is the divine evidence that you are not walking alone. On Thursday, joy will begin to bubble up inside of you, not because everything is perfect, but because something eternal is awakening. You may laugh at something small, or feel moved by a memory or a song, or even cry, but not from pain, from release. It will be the kind of joy that makes you remember who you really are. It's the joy that can't be explained by logic because it's rooted in grace. The Lord will remind you that your soul was not created to merely survive, it was created to rejoice. On Friday, healing will reach into hidden places. For some, it will be physical and unexpected result, a sudden strength, or the beginning of relief after long waiting. For others, it will be emotional, softening in your heart, a letting go of something that's been heavy for too long. You might find yourself able to forgive, to hope again, or to speak kindly to yourself without judgment. God is not just patching up the surface, He is healing the root. He is restoring what trauma tried to steal. He is touching what no human hand could reach. On Saturday, restoration will begin in your relationships and your home. Someone you thought would never speak to you again might reach out. A long silence might break. There may be no fireworks, no grand gestures, but a quiet miracle of connection will begin. Whether it's a conversation, a simple message, or even just a sense of peace in your household, God is breathing life back into what felt lost. Family, friendship, identity, nothing is too fractured for the Lord to rebuild. What felt impossible will begin to stir with new possibility. And on Sunday, you will pause, reflect, and realize something extraordinary. God has been moving all along. You will look back and see the fingerprints of heaven all over your week. You may find yourself in tears, not from sorrow, but from reverent awe. You'll know in your spirit that this wasn't just a better week, it was a holy one where the Creator reached down into your daily life and wrote His glory into every detail. One where miracles didn't just happen around you, they happened in you. So hold this truth in your heart. This week is not ordinary. It is anointed. It has been assigned to your destiny. Walk through each day not with fear, but with sacred expectation. Don't let doubt silence your praise. Don't let fear steal your hope. Heaven is not waiting, it's already moving. And every hour you live through this week brings you one step closer to the miracle that was tailor-made for your faith. Chosen one, we have now stepped into a month unlike any other. This is not just August on the calendar, it is August in the spirit. And it carries a divine weight you may not have expected. You may have entered it tired, unsure, or even feeling behind. But heaven is proclaiming with clarity, this is the month of release. This is the month of divine overflow. And this is the month of holy transition. August is often seen in nature as a season of ending and beginning, a time when summer gives way to fall, when rhythms shift, and preparations begin for new chapters. But in the supernatural, August holds something deeper. It is a bridge between what was and what is coming. It is a month when what was hidden begins to surface, what was delayed begins to activate. What was stolen begins to return. In Mary Christianity, C.S. Lewis wrote, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg. We are like eggs at present, and you cannot go on indefinitely being just an ordinary, decent egg. We must be hatched or go bad." This metaphor captures the holy transition of August. The weariness and delays you faced are the cracking of your shell, preparing you to soar into the divine release and overflow now unfolding. Lewis's words affirm that this month is your moment of transformation, readying you for new beginnings. The Lord is whispering, "You are not behind. You are right on time. What I have prepared for you in August could not have come any sooner for. The soil of your soul had to be made ready. This is a month of alignment, a month of divine intersections, a month where heaven is closing, cycles that hurt and opening gates that heal. You have been stretched, pressed, and broken, but not without reason. Every tear, every delay, every detour, it was all preparation for what is about to be poured into your life now. In August, chains will fall without noise. Breakthroughs will come softly but surely. You won't always see the hand of God, but you will feel the shift. Suddenly, things that drained your energy will fall away. Conversations that once triggered you will lose their grip. Habits that once enslaved you will be uprooted. Peace will become your new baseline. Expect open doors that were once bolted shut. Expect opportunities you did not chase. Expect clarity in places where confusion reigned for too long. This is not hype. This is holy orchestration. Do not be alarmed if people walk away this season. Some connections were seasonal, and their time is done. When God begins to elevate you, He also separates you. But He never leaves you empty. In August, He is surrounding you with those who speak to your calling, not just your comfort. People who see your anointing, not just your usefulness. People who don't compete with your destiny, but protect it. Let Him bring them. Let Him remove who no longer belongs. This, too, is part of the divine release. And watch for signs. In August, God will use small things to speak loud truths. A song that brings you to tears. A scripture that pierces your heart. A phone call you didn't expect. These are not coincidences. They are divine breadcrumbs reminders that He's walking with you every step of this sacred transition. He is not asking you to figure it all out. He is asking you to trust while it's shifting, praise while it's moving, and rest while He works. Remember what He said, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it?" That new thing isn't just an idea. It's a movement. It's a transformation. And it is already underway. August is not the end. It is the bridge, the birthing ground, the sacred threshold between wilderness and promise. So let go of what's fading. Say goodbye to what God has released. Stand tall and step forward even, if it's slow, even if it's trembling. Because the anointing of transition is on you, and heaven is ready to pour out more than you can ask, think, or imagine. Welcome to August. Welcome to your breakthrough. Chosen one, there is something deeply sacred about the season of waiting. It's not punishment. It's not God ignoring you. It is preparation divine, deliberate, and essential. Waiting is where God draws you into deeper communion. It is where your character is refined, your vision is clarified, and your faith is stretched. But what heaven wants you to know today is this: how you wait matters just as much as what you're waiting for. God is not calling you to wait in fear or frustration. He is not asking you to sit in silence, consumed by anxiety. He is inviting you into a different kind of waiting, a holy posture that transforms everything around you. This is not a passive season. It's a sacred one. When you wait the right way with worship in your heart, trust in your spirit, and expectation in your voice, you are not losing time. You are building a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of the promise that is coming. The Lord is saying to you now, speak life while you wait. Speak as though the miracle is already done. Declare my promises out loud, even if nothing around you has changed. Let your faith be louder than your fear. Every time you speak in faith, heaven moves, angels respond, atmospheres shift. The spiritual realm recognizes the authority in your voice when it aligns with the truth of God's word. Your declarations are not empty, they are divine weapons. So declare it. I know God is working. I know He's making a way. I know healing is coming. I know His word will not return void. These are not just hopeful phrases. They are seeds of power that water the soil of your season. Like a farmer who tends the ground long before he sees a harvest, you are preparing for what God is about to release. Don't underestimate what's happening below the surface. Your prayers, your worship, your obedience, they are not going unnoticed. They are forming the roots of something unshakable. Worship, especially in the waiting, is your greatest weapon. It realigns your soul with heaven. It silences fear. It replaces chaos with clarity. Worship isn't a reward for when the breakthrough comes, it's what pulls the breakthrough closer. When you choose to lift your voice in praise instead of complaint, you create space for God's presence to dwell, not just visit. And in His presence, even the unanswered questions begin to lose their power. Remember Paul and Silas. They were beaten, chained, and thrown into a prison cell. But in the darkest hour, they didn't wait for the chains to fall before they sang. They sang in the dark, in the pain, in the uncertainty. And as they worshipped, heaven responded. The foundations shook, doors opened. Chains fell not just for them, but for everyone around them. That is the power of waiting with worship. So if your heart feels tired, lift it anyway. If you feel forgotten, praise anyway. If nothing makes sense, sing anyway. Your worship in the waiting is not weak, it is warfare. It is victory in motion. It is faith refusing to back down, and heaven is watching, leaning in, smiling, saying, "You're doing it right. Keep going. I'm closer than you think." You are not just passing time, you are being refined, strengthened, positioned, transformed. Every moment of faithful waiting is preparing you for the weight of glory that's coming. This is not a delay, it is divine development. And when the promise arrives, it will find you ready, anchored, matured, and carrying a depth of faith that could only be forged in the quiet places. Chosen one, do not waste this wait. Fill it with praise, saturate it with expectation. Let your posture now declare, "I trust the one who holds time in his hands." Because the wait is not forever, but the fruit it produces in you will last for eternity. Chosen one, you need to hear this truth clearly and let it sink deep into your spirit. Nothing in God's design is random. Not the timing, not the silence, not the people who left or the doors that closed, not the delay. Every detail, especially the ones that didn't go as you planned, is woven with intentionality and divine wisdom far beyond your understanding. God doesn't operate by chance. He operates by purpose. What you saw as a detour, He calls direction. What felt like a setback, He calls a setup. What seemed like rejection, He calls redirection. His plans are layered in mystery, yes, but they are never meaningless. He wastes nothing, not your pain, not your waiting, not your confusion, and certainly not your faithfulness. You may be asking, why did it have to take this long? Or, why did that door never open? You might feel like you've missed your moment, or that others have moved ahead while you're stuck. But heaven sees from a higher place. God's timing doesn't operate by human clocks. His purpose isn't confined by your expectations. He is not trying to punish you with delays. He is trying to position you for something that's beyond what you would have dared to ask for. Think of David, anointed to be king, but sent back to the sheep. He wasn't crowned immediately. He was hidden, molded, and tested. The very battles that seemed random, the lion, the bear, even Goliath, were stepping stones, perfectly orchestrated to prepare him for a throne he never had to chase. He didn't need to manipulate his way to greatness. just needed to be faithful where God placed him. That's what you're doing right now. God is preparing you for rooms you haven't entered yet. He's building strength in areas no one else sees. He's teaching you discernment in silence and resilience through resistance. You are not being overlooked. You are being refined in the fire, shaped like clay in the hands of the potter, so that when the appointed time comes, you will not just survive the blessing, you will carry it with grace, power, and authority. Sometimes, the delay is not about the promise, it's about your preparation. God won't give you something that will crush you if you're not ready to carry it. And the very fact that it's taken time should remind you that what's coming must be significant. Ordinary things don't require extraordinary preparation. But you, chosen one, are not ordinary. So today, stop measuring your life by what hasn't happened yet. Stop comparing your timing to someone else's. You are not. Behind you are being aligned. The path you're walking is sacred, even if it feels slow. God's fingerprints are on every step, and when the breakthrough comes, and it will, you'll see why it had to take this long. You'll understand why certain things didn't work out. You'll be able to say with clarity and reverence, if it had happened any sooner, I wouldn't have been ready, but now I see his plan. This is your reminder. You have not been forgotten, you've been preserved. Not cast aside, but set apart. Heaven has not delayed your destiny, it's been designing it with divine precision. So keep walking, even when the road feels uncertain. Keep believing, even when the answer is still unfolding. Keep trusting, even when you don't understand, because what God is building in you right now is eternal. Chosen one, God's plan for your life is not falling apart, it's falling into place. Chosen one, there is a shift happening not just around you, but deep within you. It may not be loud or dramatic, but if you pay attention, you'll sense it. The heaviness you've been carrying for so long is beginning to lift. The invisible pressure on your chest, the weight behind your eyes, the mental fog that's clouding your clarity, it's not your imagination. It's the residue of a prolonged spiritual battle. But now, the wind is changing, the Spirit of God is moving, and His light is beginning to pour in. This light is not harsh. It doesn't come to expose and shame. It comes to heal. It seeps gently into the cracks, into the rooms of your soul you've kept locked for years. It reaches places you've forgotten, memories you've buried, and lies you've believed about yourself that were never from God. This light comes with warmth, not accusation. It comes with comfort, not fear. And it comes with power, the kind that transforms, restores, and revives. God is saying, the darkness tried to define you, but it didn't destroy you. The grief tried to silence you, but you're still breathing. The confusion tried to consume you, but my truth is coming to clear the fog. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being renewed from the inside out. What was once heavy is beginning to lift. Not because everything has changed on the outside, but because something has awakened on the inside. You may have noticed it already. You've begun to say no to things that used to drain you. You've started choosing peace over performance, stillness over striving, truth over approval. These are signs of healing. These are whispers of resurrection. Your spirit is slowly remembering what it means to be whole again. God is not rushing you. He's not demanding that you leap forward. He's simply asking you to breathe, receive, and let the light in. You don't have to force transformation. It's happening as you surrender. As you sit in His presence, as you rest not in defeat but in dependence, and as you begin to feel the light touch your soul, even if only for a moment, hold on to it. That moment is proof that He is near. This is the beginning of spiritual renewal, the breaking of old cycles, the release of old identities. You're no longer who the world said you were. You're no longer bound by the shame of yesterday. You are becoming who God intended all along. He is exchanging the ashes of your past for beauty, the mourning of your soul for joy, and the spirit of heaviness for garments of praise. Let this be your posture in this season. Open hands, lifted eyes, and a surrendered heart. Because the more you allow God's light to fill you, the more your vision will return. You will begin to see your situation differently. You will interpret delays, not as rejection, but as refinement. You will begin to feel hope rising, not the shallow kind that depends on circumstances, but the deep, anchored kind that only God can give. Chosen one, the fog is lifting, the light is breaking through, and what's being restored is not just your hope, it's your identity, your clarity, your voice, your strength. You are not who you were when this storm began, and by the time this healing is complete, you will not only feel lighter, you will shine brighter. So let the light in, even if it starts small, even if all you can do today is whisper, "God, I trust you." That's enough, because once the light begins to enter, darkness has no authority, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Chosen one, there's something the enemy has tried to convince you of for too long, that you are too far gone, too damaged, too flawed to be used, to be healed, to be whole again. But that is a lie. It always has been. The truth, the eternal truth is that you are not broken beyond repair. You are in the middle of being reshaped by the hands of the potter who never once took his eyes off you. What you've seen as failure, he sees as formation. What you've called damage, he calls design. What feels like the end is, in his hands, the beginning of something sacred. You are not shattered, you are in process. You are not discarded, you are being refined. And even the cracks you've tried to hide are becoming the very places where his light is starting to shine through. God doesn't need perfection to move in your life. He's never asked for it. What he looks for is surrender. And if you've been offering him your weary heart, your fragile trust, your trembling hope, he calls that holy. He doesn't recoil from your mess. He leans in. He places his hands on your life, not to judge you, but to mold you, to soften the hardened places, to reshape what was bent by disappointment, to rebuild what was distorted by pain. Like a skilled potter, he doesn't abandon the clay when it collapses. He doesn't throw it away when it resists. He starts again patiently, gently, deliberately. And even while you're spinning on the wheel, unsure of what's happening, he is forming something beautiful, something that will carry his glory and withstand the weight of blessing. It's not always comfortable. The process of reshaping requires stretching. It requires surrender. It may look like things are falling apart on the surface, but in truth, they are falling into his hands. And the cracks that once embarrassed you will soon become testimonies. They will not disqualify you, they will authenticate you. They will reveal that what you carry is not by your strength, but by his grace. Remember, the vessel isn't valuable because it's flawless. It's valuable because of what it carries. And what God is placing inside of you, wisdom, endurance, peace, healing, authority, could only be formed through the process you've walked through. Nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the silence, not the struggle. All of it was shaping you for a purpose far greater than you imagined. Chosen one, you are not a lost cause. You are not too far behind. You are not disqualified. You are chosen, called, and currently in the hands of the one who knows exactly what he's doing. Even when you can't trace his hands, you can trust his heart. So take heart. You will not remain in this place forever. You are not stuck, you are being sculpted. And when God is finished, when the refining is complete, you will not come out weak or wounded. You will come out radiant, purposeful, strong, whole. You will carry a depth and power that only comes from being shaped in the secret place. Let your soul breathe today. You are not falling apart. You are falling into the exact shape he designed you to carry. And the potter never leaves his clay unattended. Chosen one, the breakthrough you've been praying for, crying for, waiting for, it's not just on the horizon. It's not years away. It's not a distant hope. It has already begun. Though your eyes may not yet see it, though your circumstances may not yet reflect it, something has shifted in the spirit. Something has broken open. The very atmosphere around you is beginning to bend in your favor, Because heaven has already released what you've been asking for. A breakthrough doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. It doesn't always come in the form of fireworks or sudden explosions. Sometimes it begins quietly, like a gentle wind after a long storm. Sometimes it starts with a conversation you weren't expecting, an idea that won't leave you alone, a softening in your spirit where there used to be resistance. These are not small things. They are the first signs of movement. They are evidence that God has heard and heaven is responding. The enemy wants you to believe that nothing is happening. He wants to keep you focused on what hasn't changed, what still looks dry, what still feels hard. But God is saying to you now, lift your eyes. Look again. The ground that looked barren is starting to shift beneath your feet. The cloud that looks small on the horizon is carrying rain. The prayers that felt unanswered have been delivered into my hands, and I have not delayed without reason. Think of the walls of Jericho. The people of Israel marched around them in silence for 6 days, and nothing seemed to happen. But what they couldn't see was that the foundation was weakening with every lap. The pressure was building, and on the 7th day, when the time was full, the breakthrough came all at once. That's how God often works. What looks invisible is becoming inevitable. You are closer than you think. You've come further than you realize. Your breakthrough is not something you have to chase, it is something you are being aligned with. You are stepping into it every time you choose faith over fear, praise over panic, and obedience over resistance. And each small yes to God is pulling you deeper into the miracle He has already initiated. Even now, doors are opening that you haven't yet seen. Solutions are forming behind the scenes that you don't have access to. Relationships are being prepared, resources are being gathered, hearts are being softened, all to meet you at the exact moment God has ordained. He is not improvising. He is executing a plan that was written with your name on it before time began. Let this truth steady you today. God does not start something He doesn't intend to finish, and He is not waiting for you to become perfect before He moves. He's moving now because you've believed, because you've endured, because you've remained faithful even when you didn't feel strong. You may have stumbled, you may have doubted, but you never let go completely, and that your quiet endurance is the kind of faith heaven honors. Chosen one, don't let discouragement blind you to what's unfolding. Don't measure God's movement by your emotions. The breakthrough isn't pending, it's progressing, it's living. It's already begun, and very soon it will break into your visible world and leave you in holy awe, not because you forced it, but because God is always faithful to finish what He starts. This is your reminder. Stay close, stay expectant, stay in position. The shift you've been praying for isn't just near, it's happening now. Chosen one, the process you've endured, the fire, the pressure, the waiting, the wilderness, it was never just about survival. It was about transformation. God has not been trying to break you down. He's been building you up. And now, in this sacred moment, something extraordinary is happening. You are becoming a living testimony. Your story is not just personal, it is prophetic. What you're walking through, what you've overcome, what you've clung to in silence, it's being shaped into a message that will set others free. God is writing your journey into a testimony so radiant, so unshakable, that those who encounter your life will not only see you, they will see Him. You weren't just chosen to survive what broke others. You were chosen to shine through it. The healing you're receiving, the clarity you're gaining, the peace that now lingers in places once tormented, these are not just for you, they are oil for others. Your scars will speak. Your freedom will ripple. Your breakthrough will become someone else's answer. God is preparing divine appointments in your future. Encounters that will feel random, but they won't be. Souls will be drawn to your light, and you'll recognize them. You'll see their pain because you've walked through it. You'll hear their fear because you once whispered it. And you will carry the presence of God with such authority that they will feel hope before you even speak. Not because you're flawless, but because your fire made you faithful. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to preach or persuade. All you need to do is be who God is forming you to be: authentic, surrendered, lit from within by the Spirit. Your life will carry a quiet authority, the kind that doesn't boast, but breaks chains, the kind that doesn't shout, but shifts atmospheres, the kind that says, if He did it for me, He can do it for you. The Lord is saying, you will walk through doors you didn't know existed. You will speak words you didn't rehearse. You will touch hearts you never imagined. Because I have anointed you not just to be delivered, but to deliver others. This is not just elevation, it is an assignment. You have been called, set apart, refined, and now released. Not to impress, but to impact. You may still feel unsure. You may still be healing. That's okay. God does not wait until we feel ready. He moves when He knows we're aligned. And right now, heaven is aligning you with people, places, and opportunities that will unlock the next season of your purpose. So lift your head. Let your heart be open. Let your hands be willing. You don't need to chase influence or visibility. Your obedience will carry you farther than striving ever could. The light inside you is not fading, it is rising. And as you walk forward, you will see doors swing open with ease. Conversations carry divine timing, and your life, your very existence, become proof that God still moves, still heals, still chooses, still restores. Chosen one, you are becoming the evidence. You are a walking, breathing, shining testimony of what happens when divine purpose meets unwavering faith. Heaven is not finished with your story. In fact, the most impactful chapters are just beginning. Chosen one, now that you've reached this point in the journey, I want you to pause and not just in body, but in soul. Let everything you've heard settle deep into your spirit. These words were not simply meant to inspire a feeling. They were meant to confirm your calling, to awaken your faith, and to realign your heart with the truth of heaven's plan for your life. Nothing about this message was random, and neither is anything about your life. Every tear, every weight, every whispered prayer in the night has been seen, gathered, and answered, not always in the way you expected, but always in the way God designed. Even now, He is whispering to your heart, stay the course, don't shrink back. Don't let what you see distract you from what I'm doing. My hand is still on your life. My promise still holds. And what I began, I will surely finish. You don't have to know every detail of what's coming next. You don't need to trace the entire map. All you need is the courage to trust the one who is walking ahead of you. The same God who held you in the wilderness is now leading you into the promise. He is not improving your future. He is unfolding what has been perfectly written from the beginning. So, now is the moment to rest not in apathy, but in assurance. This is where faith matures. This is where worship deepens. This is where your soul stops striving and starts standing. What God has set in motion for you cannot be stopped by man, delay, or even your own weakness. What He's built in you through fire, silence, and surrender is stronger than what the world ever gave you. Your identity is not tied to circumstances. It's anchored in His faithfulness. And that faithfulness has never failed. As you step forward from this message, let your posture shift. Don't carry worry in your hand-scary worship. Don't speak doubt into the atmosphere, speak life. Declare not what you fear, but what you believe. Speak it boldly. I am not forgotten. I am not behind. I am not broken. I am becoming. I am chosen. The spiritual realm listens when a child of God speaks in alignment with heaven. And when you declare His truth, angels move, doors open, and peace flows like a river. Right now, heaven is closer than you feel. The breakthrough is not delayed, it's unfolding. The promise is not lost, it's forming. And your role is not to figure it all out, but to remain in faith, to rest in praise, and to walk as one who knows. God has already made a way. So let us seal this moment not in fear, but in prayer, not as an end, but as a new beginning. Let your heart rise and your soul breathe again. You are not standing in uncertainty. You are standing on holy ground. Heavenly Father, I thank you for every moment that led to this one. I thank you for your mercy that sustained me, your patience that carried me, and your hand that never let go of me, not even once. Today, I release control. I surrender the timeline, the outcomes, the pressure to perform. I lay it all down at your feet. I choose to trust you. I choose to walk by faith and not by sight. I receive your peace, your promises, and your presence. Let this be a week marked not by anxiety but by alignment. Let this be a month of movement, not fear. I know you are working. I know you are near. I know that what's ahead is greater than what I've left behind. So have your way in me, Lord. Use my life as a vessel of light. Let everything you've planted in me begin to grow and overflow. May my story reflect your glory. May my scars reveal your healing. May my voice carry your truth. I'm not asking for perfection, I'm asking for purpose. And I trust that you are more than able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all I can ask or imagine. In the holy name of Jesus, amen. And now, chosen one, as you step into what's next, carry this truth with you. You are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into divine fulfillment. Let the doubt fall away. Let the fear lose its voice. Let the weight lift from your shoulders. God has spoken, and what he has spoken will not return void. You don't need to chase it. It's already chasing you. You don't need to perform for it. You were made for it. You don't need to qualify for it. He already chose you for it. So speak it, believe it, receive it. This is not the end of your story. This is a holy beginning, and heaven is smiling over your surrender. It is done. It has begun.